Okay. Hey, everybody, it's Amy Fox with Work in Progress Texas. I am live in our Couples Do It Free community, and I have a very special guest on today, which I'm super excited to interview and learn about, my friend Rose Khun. So, okay. Yes.
Yes.
Right. Good. Good. Thank you. I always want to make sure I pronounce people's names correctly. And her and I, we have a history of meeting each other on social media. I'm trying to remember what that trigger was. I feel like it was First Form. I don't know what it officially was, but we've been connected on social media for a couple of years. And she really drew my attention as somebody who is like-minded like myself, health and wellness goals. And then I've seen her evolve over time. And then I was like, hey, you're catching my attention with some of this breath work that you're talking about. And then because we're kind of focusing, we've pivoted and started to focus on couples and helping couples get healthy together, helping build confidence in the bedroom and strengthen your relationship and all of that. She actually had a couples kind of story too, because obviously her and her husband are on health journeys together, and he has kind of a transformation story that we'd like to show you too as part of our interview. So we're going to get to know Rose a little bit, backstory on her, share her husband's story, and then let's learn about breath work and what that can do for your health. So I figure, Rose, why don't you kind of give us a little background on who you are, where you live, your family situation and dynamic, and then what do you do like for work, or what's your title, and kind of get us introduction on your career path.
All right. Hi, my name is Rose Khun. I'm a somatic breathwork practitioner. Also have my certificate in certified for holistic nutrition too. So I'm from Northern California, Eureka, California. Like we're up north by Oregon. I have two daughters, 12 and a 16-year-old. And what me and my family, what we like to do is we like to go hiking. Well, I like to go hiking and I drag the kids along, but right now the kids are really into pickleball and ping pong. So that's what I do with my family. And I guess this journey all started from when I wrote a letter to the man that pulled the trigger that killed my father in prison. And I told him that me and my mother forgave him. And that's how the journey all started. And it started just unfolding in front of my eyes.
Whoa, I was not expecting that at all. Oh my goodness. Okay, so this is another part of the story that we are going to have to dig into there. Okay, cool. So before we get to that part, let's rewind more so to like health and fitness aspect, because a lot of what we focus on too in the group is fat loss and health and wellness, and then we're definitely going that direction next. So why don't you tell me a little bit about your physical health journey and how you keep yourself fit? And then we can talk about your husband's journey too, and kind of how you guys have worked together on that.
Yeah. So I started working out maybe seven or 8 years ago, but I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a coach. I didn't know what I was doing. I just went into the gym, use the treadmill and then the bicycle. And then it was like in and out of the gym. Like I didn't have like a solid consistency base. I think it was when I, won a raffle ticket for the gym for a free membership for 3 months. And it was group exercise, group classes. And that's when I fell in love with working out as in a group, because of the dynamic of the energy from the group. So that's where it started for me, but I wasn't eating right. Like I worked out, but I was like, I wasn't gaining anything. I was like, my body wasn't toned because I didn't have no idea, but I just felt I love the energy of after a workout.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. And then your husband, I want to just jump into his, I got a little picture. I'm kind of switching over, making sure I'm sharing the right thing, because you're kind of like, oh my goodness, how do I do this tech stuff sometimes, right? So I had this little slide here. I've never used Canva before, so that's my first time using Canva.
Oh, nice.
So, pretty, look at that. Okay, cool. So this is your husband and this is his fitness, like evolution. So that's pretty awesome. So when y'all met, like, was he on the far, like left here to my left or whatever, and then has worked his way there, or?
Yes, he was like around 200, over 200 pounds.
Okay.
And it was a journey too. Like This didn't happen overnight here. This took about 16 years total. to get
Wow.
where he's at now. Maybe like 15 years.
Okay.
But it was the last 5 years that really like our mindset changed because we're both like working on each other. So
Mm,
I think when he started doing hot yoga.
really? Okay.
Yeah, hot yoga.
That's
I
awesome.
I know. Like I don't do hot yoga. Like he's I don't know what happened. There was a spark and he's just like his friend talked about it and he went to go try it out. You know what it is? I think it was Joe Rogan. It was like long time ago was talking about doing
Mhm.
hot yoga. And he tried it and then he liked the challenge. And then he started like losing weight like little by little and he was like, "Oh, I like this."
Mhm.
And but within that 5 years too, he stopped drinking because he's an alcoholic. So he's been
Mm.
sober for I think 6 years now.
Wow. Awesome.
So yeah, so it's like a whole lifestyle change.
Mm.
No more drinking. He changed his his
Mhm.
nutrition, you
Mhm.
know. What else? And it was just like little by little, just start like everything just like started to fall in place for him.
Wow.
And he had gotten so skinny where people were saying, family members are like, family members' friend was like, does your husband have cancer? Because he was doing
Mm.
yoga, no lifting weight. So I think it was 2020 is when we started our garage gym and he started lifting weights. So he started, like putting on some pounds
Mm.
back.
Yes. I love what you touched on there. A couple of things. The length of time that it took somebody to kind of find their groove. The fact that there was a substance that was, interfering with that progress and making the decision to remove that from their life, which is powerful. And the fact that you guys teamed up together, because lots of people in 2020 obviously went one or the other direction, right? You either see people have a massive transformation or unfortunately go the unhealthy route, and now they're kind of making up for that, hopefully, after obviously chaos of years of what we had to all go through
Yeah.
as a world together. So that's pretty powerful. I really appreciate you touching on that just a little bit. I know our focus is breath work and everything, but it was just nice to hear your couple's story a little bit on that health journey, to kind of open up. But again, you sparked my interest big time with your story. So let's really get into the forgiveness of what you did to this person who hurt your family and what it led you into breath work. And then let's talk about breath work and what it is and just become the teacher and teach us. So I'm ready to
Okay.
listen and take notes.
We're okay. So where should I start first?
I think you have to go back to that kind of
Okay.
cliffhanger that I made everybody wait for just now. It's like, let's expand on that. I didn't even know this was part of your story, so I'm ready for that.
Yeah. So in 1990, I was 7 years old. My father owned a video store, like a Cambodian video store. Back then it was like VHS tapes, like a Blockbuster you would go rent. And a group of Asian gangs ranging from 13 years old to the oldest was 21 and he was the driver. They came, they were like, "Oh, we're gonna," they thought it would be an easy rob. So they tried to rob my dad and my dad made a sudden movement and the guy shot my father. And that before he left to work, a couple of days before he left to work, he told me that he would teach me how to ride a bike. And I was so excited. So I was waiting for him to come home and he never came home.
Mm.
And that just, it was it hurted that little girl that never had time to grieve. So growing up, like we didn't talk about this man that like killed my father or anything until we got about 7 years ago is when I was like driving to the gym and I was like, there for me, it was like there was something more to life that I don't know. Like, why do I feel so different? Why am I here? Right. And I asked this question over and over. And then one day it was like, forgive that man that killed your father. And I was like, what the heck? I was like, I never even thought about this man. But that thought that came in my mind sparked a fire within me because this man's been incarcerated for over 25 years. And I don't even know who this guy was or like, why did he do it? So I was able to like research him because there is books about him. and about the history. And then I dug in and was like, where was his background? What, like, where did he come from? And he's the same nationality as me, Cambodian. So I understand the culture and trauma. We're from a war-torn country coming to America. So but that journey right there, it's going back to that little girl who didn't get to grieve her father's death. Yeah. And that leads to somatic breath work.
Okay.
So that was a journey right there of forgiveness, of writing him letters and getting to know him and helping him even to get out of prison.
Really?
I went to his, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's out now.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. He's about 50 years old. And he's not the same little boy that went in. He's changed, he's grown, he's learned his lessons. He's very sorry that he did it. He wished, he couldn't turn back in time and undo it. Yeah, he has this regret in his heart. And it's like, how do I help this man here to forgive himself? Because the journey is forgiving ourselves.
Wow.
If you can forgive yourself, you can forgive others.
Do you still talk to him?
Yeah, I'm meaning to text him like this week. I was thinking about him. I was like, I need to text him because he popped into my mind. Yeah.
Yes. And of course you would, because it's so connected to, what you're going to teach us, that there's obviously everybody has some kind of trauma or damage of some sort. And obviously there's different levels, there's different intensities, but when it's our situation, it's going to feel big to us, no matter what it is necessarily. But it's obviously, I find that when I work with clients too, some of the stuff that we're working through, even just with health and fitness or nutrition or whatever, some things with youth might pop up in some of those things where we have to navigate. Like, is this something that needs more treatment? Is this something that needs more, intervention that's beyond my scope of practice sometimes, right? But, how can so it sounds like breath work was one of those avenues to release and be able to forgive. So let's spend on a healing and forgiveness with breath work. What is that? How does it work? And, what can people do? Like, just kind of start with how does it work? I think that's a good starting point. I'm just a total newbie. So,
okay. Love it. Love it.
Okay,
so,
good.
Somatic breath work is designed to clear out the pressure and trauma stored in your body. So stress and trauma is the response of our nervous system to the event that happened to us. So a lot of the times the energy becomes like trapped in our bodies. So soma means body. By doing somatic breath work, it helps us release this energy through expression. And expression is the release of stored energy. So Gabor Mate has this quote saying, trauma is not what happens to you. It's what happened inside of you as a result of what happens to you. So if we don't heal like childhood trauma, it will show up in our romantic relationship. Yeah. And
okay.
And so like the purpose of like doing the breath work is that because when we don't express ourselves, we end up suppressing. When we end up suppressing, we end up repress and then depress and ends up dis-ease. So releasing old energy, like pent up emotion, trauma, conditioning, and anything else that you are carrying within yourself, that's holding back in your body. Like it's like dimming our light. It's pushing us away from like love and abundance. And but this light, it just like wants to flow naturally to us, because just like emotional baggage, it's heavy in here. And what's heavy in here is heavy out here. And sometimes it's on our bodies that we have this, extra weight that we're carrying. And we're like, I'm doing everything that, like everything, but it's just like, I'm not losing the last like 10 pounds or whatever pounds, and is coming back to the heart. Is what's in here that's heavy. What's in here that's you are neglecting.
Yes.
Are you taking the time to sit down with your feelings and really feeling like, what is it in here that's keeping us from reaching our potential?
Yeah, that's amazing. And I love that you're talking about, in a sense, like pausing and digging into what that is, because I think a lot of the times we have these goals in our head or these thoughts or these things that we want to do, but it's just right here. And it's not taking it down with the deeper, or writing things down or journaling things down or getting it out in some way, which obviously it sounds like breath work is another avenue for that. So
Yeah.
if somebody's experiencing trauma, how would breath work help them release it? Like, it's the technique? Is it, being guided by somebody in particular to put them through that, right? That's my guess.
Yes.
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So during breath work, you're breathing like out through your mouth. And so when you're breathing out through your mouth is a technique that we do. Plus with music and being guided, you get out of the thinking mind. You cannot solve the problem with the thinking mind. So it's getting out of your head and dropping into your heart, dropping into your body. It's like embodiment. Like, when you breathe, you're letting go of all those thoughts, and is learning to connect back to your body. And when you connect back to your body, sometimes things comes up. And it's different for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes next thing you know, you're crying and you're like, I don't know why I'm crying, but I'm crying. And then when you start crying, like things come up for you, and it lets you see what you need, like healing on, like what the stress you're holding on to, and is an opportunity to feel whatever emotion comes up. Anger was one of my emotions that came up. I was so angry. I was so like mad, like just like, oh, like so angry, screaming and like pounding my fists. And after screaming and pounding my fist and feeling that anger, to realize that I was deeply saddened that I did not get to grieve my father's death. Mm-hmm. And I'm over here I think I was like, almost 40 years old, finally grieving and feeling those emotions that was stuck in my body that I never knew was there. But the body keeps scores, the body knows. And it was a huge release. I felt like a brand new person. Wow. I felt so lighter. I felt like, wow, what was blocking me from getting to the next level of life? I released that. Like that it wasn't holding me back anymore. I wasn't afraid.
Wow. Was that your first session that you did that, or was it a build up to it?
It was a second session. Yeah.
Okay.
The first session, I was kind of like, wasn't really sure. I was still in my head,
Mm-hmm.
And then the second time I was able to like drop into my body and just, because there's like no judgment. It's a safe place where you're able to release whatever's coming up, and you're being guided, and they're there holding space for you. It's like, when do you have a place where you're able to express anger and yell and scream and not be judged? You're just releasing what's in here. Sometimes people have throat, like their throat, like they can't speak up. And so they're like, some people are just like trying to like yell. And once they're able to finally express who they are and like yell and scream, or however you want to express. Wow. That's what it is to be a human, to feel all those emotions.
And is this normally done in like a group situation, or is there like an individual, or can it be either one where someone's guiding you or guiding a group?
Usually you're being guided by a person, either through, you could do like I host one-on-one session or Zoom group sessions, and I do in-person sessions too. Awesome. And yeah, it's just another healing modality that is like, you don't even need like talk therapy. We're just going to use our breath and it's going to come out, and you're just like, wow.
Is it guided kind of like a meditation style, or is there a different technique? Because when I think of breath work, I'm thinking of, when I turn on my Headspace app and it's got me either like clenching my body and loosening my body, or breathing in, holding it, releasing it. Is there a difference with the breath work versus a meditation style?
Yeah. So meditation style, you're just meditating. You do a couple breath works, but this session here, you're breathing the whole 60 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. So in the first half is like hyper, like you're, yeah.
Okay.
So you're taking your body to like a fight and flight, and that's where
Interesting.
all the stuff comes up. So like the first half is very intense, and the second half is more gentle, more loving. You know, what do you want to bring in? It's beautiful.
Because I would think that would be like when you're done, exhausted. Like, were you exhausted afterwards? Like, there must be either you sleep really good that night, or you're just like, I don't know, maybe you're refreshed at the same time too, because there's a release. I mean, I guess it's unpredictable what somebody is going to like feel afterwards, but to me, it almost sounds like you would be exhausted in a good way.
Yeah, it depends. Everybody is different. Some people might be like more sad. Some people are like, oh my gosh, bursts of energy. Some people are just like, oh, I'm tired. Like I need to just chill. So everybody has everybody is different. So it's whatever comes up for you that's it. There's no wrong or right way.
So how would you maybe like convince somebody, if there's somebody's kind of like, I don't know, that sounds woo-woo. Like, and I'm just playing a devil's advocate, or just kind of thinking like, how do you get past like the woo-woo thought? Because obviously when you talk about it and what it did for you, you can see the impact that it had and how powerful it was for you, and how crazy and almost sad, like, oh my gosh, you held on to that for so long. And oh, I wish you could have released at that time, but now you have, and you're free, and that's incredible. So for maybe some people are like, I don't know if that's, I don't know if I could do that. Like, what would you say to them that would give them some confidence that it's worth it?
There's nothing woo-woo about this. I know it sounds kind of woo-woo, but all we're doing is just breathing. We breathe through our mouth. And you're with music on and you're being guided. That is a very good question.
Yeah, I know. It just came to me because I'm thinking like, it's just, I think we underestimate the impact that we can have on our physical body, and how, I don't know, the breathing, it just to me, it's like the more we talk about it, the more like it just kind of makes sense. Like, it just makes sense that you would slow down, you'd have somebody guiding it. It makes sense that there would be intensity in the beginning and some relaxation towards the end or whatever. Now, I guess when you're guiding somebody, is it strictly just the breath, or are you talking to them about releasing A, B, or C, or working through a problem? Or is it just literally, we are guiding you through breathing?
We just guide you through breathing. If I see someone that's need extra support, I'll go and try to help them release it out. Like let it out. Use your voice. How does your body want to shake? It's just releasing out, because the energy is stored in here, and it's just learning to tap into your body's wisdom and listening to what the body wants to do.
I love it.
Because
sorry, no one can.
Yeah.
I'm like, it just makes sense. Like, the more that you talk about it. So, I mean, if people are interested in working with you, what does that look like?
What it looks like. So I had a lady come from Oregon, driving 6 hours here, and we had a Mother's Day special. She's like, I'm coming down. Like, you think you can squeeze me in? I was like, let's do it. Let's do it. And she had a powerful experience. Like, she's like, after the breath work was over, she's like, I feel brand new. And we had the window open up a little bit. And for her was like looking for confidence. She was calling in confidence. And when she was started screaming a little, she was afraid of what the neighbors were going to say. Like, oh, the window is open. And that came in her mind. And she's like, what are the neighbors going to say? And then for her to trust me was like, come on, girl, let's go. Like, let it out. And she just like, fuck it. Sorry. I knew that.
Oh, that's okay.
So she's like, it, to herself, is like this is where the confidence came up because of other people's judgment. So she was afraid to use her voice. And in that moment right there, she used her voice and just like, ah. And that was empowering for her to be like, I don't care anymore. This is me. Yeah.
Wow.
So
It sounds like too, oh, I'm sorry. It sounds like too that people are having pretty powerful experiences, even with just one session. Like, is there a recommendation for how many sessions you should do? Is it based on how you feel or how long you go with, whatever is revealed to you at that session?
Yeah, I still do somatic breath work is when I feel called to, because there's days and months where like I just feel stressed out. I don't know. There's something I'm working through that I just can't like I need more guidance and more help. So I turn into my friends that do somatic breath work, like, hey girl, can you give me a session?
Yes.
And it's, it's just another tool, another modality for us to have in our toolbox to, I have something in here that needs attention, that needs support, that needs a safe place. Like, can you hold this space for me? Yeah. And I'm very fortunate to have this community of, practitioners that are ready to hold space for you, to watch you in your deepest sorrow, in your deep sadness, in your anger, in your guilt, in your shame. Like, I love holding space for that.
I love that phrase. I love holding space for that. It's almost like you could put that in like as your logo or something like that. Maybe that's the name of your future podcast,
right?
Holding space for that or something like that. Oh, I love that. So if people wanted to work with you, what do they reach out via email or how would you like people to contact you if they're interested?
Yeah, you can message me on Instagram, DM me on Instagram, and tell them that you're Amy's friend, and I'll put in a little discount for them too if they want to do like one-on-one Zoom session, or if they want to have like a couple more people in the room, like we can figure something out.
Awesome. That's fantastic. I love the option of potentially doing a group session. I'm definitely interested in leading something like that and getting the vibe of seeing who would be interested. So maybe we can like pull together and try it in a group session. That would be fun. Okay.
Yes.
I love that. Okay. That's a great idea. Well, is there anything else that you want to share? I know I love hearing your husband's story, the fact that you guys have worked together. Oh, my other question too was, has he ever done a session as well? And did that contribute to maybe the alcohol thing, or is not connected, or they were different timelines?
Different timelines.
Okay.
He hasn't tried it yet, but his mom and dad has.
Okay. That's so funny. Oh, mom and dad trust the daughter-in-law.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. That's so awesome. I love, like you said, another tool in the toolbox when it comes to, forgiveness and healing and moving to the next level. Like, what is holding you back in life? What is preventing you from pushing forward? Especially if you keep coming across the same roadblocks or obstacles that happen time and time again, or you keep, losing traction or whatever. Like, what is it? There's something deeper, and maybe this is something that could help somebody. So I just really appreciate it. Is there anything else you'd want to share in closing that on top of what we talked about? Or hopefully I asked good enough questions.
Yeah, no, it's you have to feel it to heal it. And I believe that each and every one of you guys that are watching on here are on the path. You're bettering yourself by working out, grabbing yourself a coach, because having a coach would have cut my journey in half.
Preach. Same.
Yes. So you're on the right path, and it's just going to feel whatever it is that is coming up for you. Because sometimes when you're working out, sometimes you might be crying one day and be like, I don't know why I'm crying, or but feel it. You're safe. Because what's in here, in your heart here, it wants to be felt. It wants to be witnessed. It wants to be seen.
That's so good. And I can just tell you too, like, your demeanor would be perfect for a breath. Like, you just have the aura and the personality and the tone and the gentleness, as well as like the right thing to say, in that. So I can't wait to do a session with you. That's just awesome. So I love how you phrase it and are so like, I already feel encouraged just having the conversation with you, for Pete's sake. So this has been so fantastic. Probably one of my favorite interviews. I appreciate it so much. I'm going to make sure that I get this, like you said, if you guys are interested in, well, I'll make sure I tag her Instagram and we guys can get you guys connected and make sure you guys can reach out, because I think if this sparks an interest at all, you should absolutely reach out to her. And if not, have at least a discussion and talk about it. And we are basically, thank you so much, Rose. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording here. And I just really appreciate so much you being here and sharing this and teaching us something new, which has been pretty exciting.
Yay. So, thank you so much, Amy.
Thank you. Okay.